Feeling a lot of gratitude to be speaking here in front of you and to have shared the stage with two very good friends and people who I respect very much. And Stephen, if you're back there, thank you for having me back yet again. This is the 5th year in a row that I've spoken in front of you. And every year in January, February, somewhere in that time frame, I get the email from Stephen, and he's like, hey, you know, an hour on the Pearl stage this year, or an hour and a half upstairs, or whatever. And I'm always really appreciative of that opportunity. So then I sit down, and my process is to kind of think about you guys. Like, where are they? What's going on for them right now? Where are they going to be in June when we're together? What do they need? And the word success just kept popping up over and over for me last January, and I was thinking, you know, I think that's why a lot of them are here, is to find success. So I started to craft a presentation. I just realized I don't have a clicker, which makes it real tough to advance the slides. Could somebody run one out to me? Thank you. I'm sorry about that. And I started thinking, well, to find success is an interesting concept because first we have to define what it is that we're looking for in order to find something. And I didn't want to make the assumption that my definition of success is the same as yours. I mean, everybody in this room perhaps has a different definition of success. So I want you to ponder this question for a moment, and it's really a stem sentence that has a blank at the end. I will be successful once I have blank. And in a moment, I'm going to elicit some of your feedback, so be ready to shout out your 1 or 2 words that would coincide with this. And what I've done is I sent Stephen an email. I said, can you get me one of those flip charts so I can kind of do this process with them on stage? So I kind of started us off, got us a little bit of a head start. The camera crew, if you could put the visual, if you don't mind, on this flip chart, that would be awesome, if that's possible. So the people in the back can see what it says. So I kind of got us a little bit of a head start. I will be successful once I am a top producer. I will be successful once I have balance. I will be successful once I have $2 million in the bank. I will be successful once I have peace. These are things that I've heard come out of people's mouths that I've asked this question of. So help me out. Let's fill this sheet up just a little bit. What would the blank be for you? Start firing out answers, please. Happiness. Thank you. What else? A great team, okay? What was that?
Master of the mind.
Master of the mind, that's a great one, okay? Freedom, okay. I'm going to assume master of the mind also means presence. Anybody else? Come on, folks, there's got to be more here. I know you just had lunch. You probably had a turkey sandwich. You're a little tired. What was that? Did somebody over here say something?
More time.
More time. Thank you. What else? Happy kids. I will be successful once I have happy kids. Cool. Once I'm retired. Okay, now we're making some headway here. Once I have a yacht. Okay. Well, for some people, yeah, absolutely. What else? Giving more, okay. I'll be successful once I'm giving more. I like that one. How about like living in a better neighborhood, right? Or something like that. Neighborhood or bigger house. Passive income. We got time up there, but thank you for that. $1 million a year. Okay. All right. You know, we can stop there. So it's a healthy little list. So I want to pose another question to you, and I'd like you to think about it for a moment. I'm going to paint a picture. If we could put that list up there. Cool. It's up there. So let's assume for a moment that 80% of the things on this list were your current reality. Like as you sit here in this ballroom right now, you have 80% of these things. Okay, you've got more time, you've got freedom, you have balance, you've got $2 million in your bank account, you've got a great team, you own a yacht, you have passive income of $1 million. Raise your hand if life would be a little bit better than it is today. Raise your hand. Okay, cool. So we have consensus. Not everyone raised their hand, but a significant percentage of the room raised their hand. So I think we have a consensus that this is a pretty healthy list that will satisfy for the purposes of this discussion. So, you know, the thing I was thinking about is the mortgage business is really incredible, right? I mean, like Craig was mentioning it a little bit earlier, it's considered to be one of the top 3 most desirable jobs. I mean, you hold one of the top 3 most desirable jobs in the country. That's pretty awesome to be able to say that. Why is it so desirable? Well, I think a part of it is because there's really no ceiling as to how much money you can make doing this job if you work intelligently, if you focus, you know, if you have a strategy and a plan. You didn't have to get a PhD to be able to earn 7 figures in this business, and there are a lot of people in this room that are going to do just that this year. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I think we picked the right industry, so we should give ourselves a hand for that. But those of you that were at my presentation last year upstairs on time management, remember that I defined very clearly for you that time management is about getting crystal clear on your hell yeses and your hell nos. Okay, that is at the heart and essence of time management. And the successful loan originators on a monetary and production basis are those that have gotten very clear on what activities they should be engaging in on a daily basis and which ones they should be steering clear of. And they're just doing it a lot more frequently. That's the formula. It's really not that complicated. They're working on high payoff activities more frequently, and maybe more important than anything, they've gotten really clear on what seduces them into saying yes to a hell no. And they've managed to steer clear of that seduction, which is generally based and rooted in fear, getting re-engaged in the file, getting caught up doing a whole bunch of things during the day that are not high payoff. And I started thinking, isn't this the formula for happiness as well? I mean, isn't our quality of life ultimately, and therefore our success, our true success in life, predicated upon us getting really clear on what our hell yeses and hell nos are in our life? And choosing into those activities more frequently than we currently are that fill us up, that bring us joy, that cultivate more peace. And opting out of the activities that we're consistently engaging in that deplete us, that bring us down, that suck us of our energy. It's an interesting thing to contemplate. You see, a lot of us have been wandering around for a really long time, searching for something, trying to get back that elusive smile that we once had frequently when we were younger, before life got so serious, intense, filled with responsibilities. You know those days when you were younger and you could just have a good time all day long and there was nobody really riding your back, before you had to provide, before you had a whole team of people that you had to be responsible for. And the thing is that we've bought into this story that it's the symbols in our life that will give us that smile back. The house, the car, the yacht, the country club membership, the portfolio balance. So today's presentation is about finding success. And my hope is that at least a few of you will define it clearly for yourself before you leave this room in about 25 minutes. And we're going to go through 8 clues that I'm going to take you through for finding success. And I suggest that you take photographs of the slides and or take some good notes, because I think they're all very important. So now if we can go back to my PowerPoint, that would be super cool. Thank you. So success clue number 1. In order to have what you want, start by wanting what you have. In order to have what you want, start by wanting what you have. Now, you've heard this phrase before, but perhaps you haven't ever had it explained to you as to why this is important. What we're talking about here is gratitude, okay? But the reason that it's important is because our source is always listening. whether it be the universe or God, whatever your orientation is, it doesn't make any difference. But our source is always listening, and the thoughts that go through our head and the words that exit our mouth have a dramatic impact on what we manifest and create. And we as human beings are a lot more intelligent than we sometimes give ourselves credit for. We are constantly out to prove ourselves right. That is pre-wired into who we are as human beings. My partner, Julie Wykes, who's an outstanding coach, who's sitting right down here, talks to our clients all the time about being careful about their languaging. She talks to me about it all the time. I catch myself, getting caught up in negative dialogue within myself. And one of the great examples is that of time. Okay? How many of you walk around every day and have these thoughts or express these phrases? I wish there was more time. If there were only more hours in the day. There's never enough time to get everything done. We are left with then having to prove ourselves right because that's how we're pre-wired. So if our languaging is based in scarcity, we will then on a subconscious level follow physically and with our actions to prove ourselves right. That's how it works. Which leads us to success clue number 2. What you focus on, you bring closer. What you focus on, you bring closer. When you focus on gratitude, you're calling in abundance. When you focus on gratitude, you are calling in abundance, and the opposite of that is when we're focusing on scarcity. And you've met these people, haven't you? In fact, some of them are sitting around you right now. Those that walk around all the time talking about what they don't have, and then they seem to cultivate and manifest a lot of bad luck. Actions follow thoughts and words. We're constantly seeking to prove ourselves right, which leads me to success clue number 3. It's impossible to be a victim when you're in gratitude. It's impossible to be a victim when you're in gratitude. So I'm going to say this very slowly because I really want you to get it. There are 2 primary orientations to life. Orientation number 1, life is happening to me. Life is happening to me. I am at the effect of the world outside of me, which is the archetype of a victim. If only my company had better processing. If only these rates were better. If only my team were as dedicated as me. It's a very disempowering state of consciousness. The antithesis of that is the state of consciousness the most top-producing loan originators and successful people have, which is life is happening by me. You take Barry as an example, perfect example. He and I have that conversation 45 days ago to talk about that new program that he has in MBS Highway that's really going to be incredible for dripping on your pre-approvals. It's already available. It's already available. Life is happening by me in Barry's consciousness. I'm going to take action on that, and we're going to make it available at this conference in June. I'm not going to sit and wait. 2 very different states of showing up in the world. Which state is more attractive to your clients and referral partners? Obviously, life is happening by me, the empowered state of consciousness. Okay? So that leads us into success assignment number 1. Whoops, I went backwards there. I want everyone to go out and get a journal. And I suggest you do it at the break. You order it on your phone through Amazon. You have it sent to your office. So it's waiting for you when you get there. Dave talked about the law of diminishing intent. You don't want to wait because if you wait, you won't do it at all. And I want you to do a little process with me for the next 30 days. For the next 30 days, when you wake up in the morning, before your mind gets active, before you start going through your emails and checking your voicemails, when you're still inside and in your heart, I want you to write down 3 things every morning that you're grateful for the next 30 days. 3 things. After your coffee or while you're having your coffee, after your prayer or your meditation, in the morning. At the end of 30 days, you're going to have 90 uniquely different things that you're grateful for. I'm not going to tell you what the effect will be, both inwardly and outwardly, but I promise you it will be significant. Because now we're going to be shifting our mindset and our focus and our inner dialogue to abundance. And your source is listening. And you will seek to prove yourself to be right. It doesn't need to be radical stuff. Yesterday when I got on the airplane, I sat down, I closed my eyes, jumped on the Southwest flight from LA and went through my 3 things of gratitude. And one of the things I thought was, I'm so fucking grateful that there's like going to be a room of people that give a shit about what I have to say. Wow. Wow. Why me? That's incredible. I'm so honored. I'm grateful for the fact that the sun is out today and it's been cold the last week, in the winter time. I'm grateful for the fact that my children are healthy. I'm grateful for the fact that we closed that loan yesterday and that my team stepped up. We're talking about shifting our inner dialogue, folks, and it's very, very important. Oh, so let's go back to this list of ours for a second. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to circle a few things. There's a difference between the circled items and the uncircled items. The circled items are what we're going to call symbols. Top producer, $2 million in the bank, passive income of $1 million, a yacht, retired, a better neighborhood. The uncircled items are what we're going to call experiences. And they're very, very different. Very different. You see, most of us are roaming the earth playing a game. And it's a game that doesn't have a finish line. The finish line in this game keeps getting extended. And we're suffering inside as a result of this game that we're engaged in. You have the house, and now you want a bigger house. You have the nice car, but you'd like the next model. You have $2 million in the bank, but it would be nice to have 3. I finally made $1 million. I talked to a guy last year at this event who was on the stage who did $160 million in production. And the first question I asked him is, what is the experience that you're looking to have? What is it that you want more of? He said, I want to do $300 million. That's someone who's locked into a game. Locked into a game that they don't even know that they're playing. And I want to pose a question to you that I'd like you to really consider. Write this down, please. Where is their peace in the belief that more is better? Where does the peace exist in the belief that more is better? When we buy into that belief, we suffer. Success clue number 4. If we can go back to the slides, it'd be great, so I could take a look at it, please. Thank you. It's your relationship to the journey, not the destination, that will determine your success. It's your relationship to the journey, not the destination, that will determine your success. It's who you are every day when you're pursuing being the top producer. How you show up in the office, who you are as a father or a mother or a son or a daughter or a spouse. Who you are when you're on that yacht. That will determine your success, not the ultimate destination. Success clue number 5. Before we go to success clue number 5, let me ask you this question. Have you seen through this game yet? Like it's really, really subtle and it's tricky. Like I even said to Julie a couple weeks ago, I feel like I'm re-entering the game a little bit. And thankfully I'm aware of what that feels like now, so I'm able to back out of it. But this game of more is better, it's kind of a little bit like, it's kind of a little bit like a crack addiction. It's like that first hit, you get that high, right? Like that first year you made 200 grand, it was like, oh, this is great. But then it has a shelf life. It doesn't really last. It's kind of like you need to up the ante to get that same buzz, that same effect. And that's where we lose peace. And before we know it, we're trapped into this game and we're spending a significant amount of our life trying to win it, and things all around us are deteriorating. Success clue number 5, get clear on the experiences that fill your soul and give yourself those experiences often. Get clear on the experiences that fill your soul and give yourself those experiences often, and do not think that that will mean that you will make less money. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. When you are full, everybody wants to hang with you. Everybody. It's not hard to get realtors when you're full. It's not hard to get clients to work with you. Your team loves you. They will go to war with you when you are full. But most of us are walking around depleted because we're locked into the game. So let's take a deeper look here at symbols and experiences. The list on the left are some broad-based categories of symbols. Money, your title, top producer, cars, homes, your marital status. Those of you that have been divorced like me know how hard that was to have to change your title, your status. I'm no longer a husband, I'm a single father, and it hurt to say that because I was locked into this belief that that defined me, who I was. Sex, lovers, your persona and your image, your physical appearance. There's so many people in this country that are so consumed by their physical appearance. They think that it's making them happy. They say, I go to the gym 7 days a week, and they say that proudly. And they're not happy inside. In fact, it's making them less happy because they don't even have ease. Let's take a look at the list on the right. Freedom, security, happiness, comfort, joy, peace, love, adventure, and inspiration. Two radically different lists. The list on the left are things outside of you that you're buying into thinking will give you that smile back. The list on the right are things that you are experiencing. They are feelings. And it's about identifying what brings those feelings forward for you and giving that to yourself often. So let's test this theory for those naysayers in the room. We'll take somebody who we all consider, I think, to be successful, Mother Teresa. Damn you if you say she wasn't successful. I mean, she was about as giving of a person as the planet's ever seen. She was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. How many things on the left did she have? None. How many on the right? Probably all of them. I'm pretty sure she died fairly happy. She gave her life. She lived in service. She was in her heart 95, probably even more than that, 95% of the time. Yeah. So what is success? Well, let's keep searching. Success clue number 6, be careful not to sacrifice the experience for the symbol. Be careful not to sacrifice the experience for the symbol. There are many people in this room right now who are, by all measures, financially wildly successful, making huge sums of money, and they have a war chest of symbols that they could show you. And inside they're sad. Success clue number 7. And this is the one I want you to hear most loudly. When I said this to Craig, oh my God, 3 months ago on a phone call we had, I heard this huge sigh of relief in you. It was like such a relief. It's not the symbol that's the bad thing. The symbol is never the bad thing. It's okay to have a big house. It's okay to have a nice, fast car. It's okay to have a yacht. That's not the issue. It's our relationship to the symbol that causes our imbalance and suffering. It's our relationship to the car. It's our relationship to the portfolio balance, to the extent that it defines you, to the extent that you're consumed by it, to the extent that if it were taken from you, you would massively suffer and worry and stress out, and then put everything else aside to go back and try to get it back. That's an addiction, folks. That's an addiction, by definition. So it's our relationship to these material items that causes our imbalance and suffering, not the item itself. Success clue number 8. Beware of competing intentions. And we work a lot on this with our clients. Both Julie and I have psychology degrees, and it's super important in the work that we do. What are competing intentions? So I'll give you an example. You may have an intention when you leave here that I want to increase my income by 150%. Great intention. I love it. Let's design a plan, as Dave talked about, with massive impact goals and action items associated with you being able to accomplish that. But if at the same time you're holding an additional intention in your consciousness that looks like these two, I want to get home earlier and be present with my family, and or I want to find time to work on my mental and physical health, we have opposing forces now, if we don't have a plan. So that's the key thing, is to have a plan to where these opposing forces don't compete with each other, but to where they work in harmony with each other and elevate you to having a more well-rounded and balanced life. So both need to be looked at with equal weight. The problem is that so oftentimes we give importance to item number 1 over items number 2 and 3. I'm sure there are at least a few people in this room that can relate to that put business success in front of inner harmony, connection with family, etc. And then before you know it, the kids are off to college and you wonder what happened. So I don't profess to be sharing with you anything that you don't already know. I mean, I think you fundamentally know all of this. Why do I say that? Well, because you remember. You remember, it was a long time ago, but you remember. You used to pump your legs on the swing for a half hour straight and laugh from your belly. Jump off in the sand and run back and jump back on again and ask your parent to more. Or when you'd swim in that pool for 4 hours in the summertime until your feet and your fingers were all pruned up. Time just stood still. Wasn't even a factor. We were present. We were in peace, bless you. We were in peace inside. Or that look that you gave your spouse when your child did something really, really beautiful when they were an infant, and you just looked at each other and you just knew and you had that feeling. Those special moments, those experiences. That's what we're all looking for. Craig mentioned it earlier, that's what the perfect loan process is. It gives someone an experience. That's what we all want. We're willing to pay for experiences. That's why we pay a lot of money to go on vacations, because it gives us an experience. And by now, there are at least a few of you who are probably saying, yeah, but, I'm only doing 3 loans a month or 4 loans a month, or yeah, but, I hear you. Listen, I get it. Be careful. It's a game. Be aware of it. Know that you're playing it. The sooner that you figure out that you don't have to play it to have success, to really, truly be successful, the better it'll be. I mean, if you think those 2 guys who were up on the stage earlier have had their production drop in the last 2.5, 3 years that we've been working together, you're totally wrong. It's actually gone up. And the smiles have come back a lot more frequently. So how do I know all this? Well, I'm telling you the story of my life. I was one of the top 50 loan officers in the United States for 8 consecutive years. And when that wasn't enough, I created this thing called Loan Toolbox and built and sold that. Was coaching almost 11,000 loan officers and sold that for a lot of money. And that wasn't enough, so we moved to Italy and lived in this amazing place in Tuscany and had an amazing year. I mean, it was truly amazing, beautiful experiences. Then I came back, and my wife, about a year later, asked me for a divorce because I was still playing the game. Sometimes it takes a tragedy to create an awakening, which is what happened for me, and I feel very grateful for that awakening. I feel very grateful to her. My relationship with my kids is pretty amazing as a result of the last 7 years of being a single father. I just don't want you to have to play the game any longer and endure any more suffering than is necessary. So what it's really about, folks, is working smart. Barry mentioned earlier today, he was kind enough to say that I'm pretty good at strategy. That's what I do well. And what we do is, we really focus on the key pillars of being successful in this business. So, being properly scripted at point of sale. to convert the highest percentage of people possible to saying yes to you. So you have a very high batting average, like really looking at your sales presentation skills. So a significant percentage of those listing agents that you cross-sell end up switching and working with you. Integrating the strategies that MBS Highway has just put in, that Barry and I had talked about. Like that's important. I mean, my God, if you're not using the mortgage coach, what an enormous mistake. I mean, I think I'm like the oldest guy in the room that's a mortgage coach user, but I mean, it was like a religion for me. To not use it is such an extreme disadvantage to your presentation process. Really focusing on your marketing, database management, staying intimately in touch with your past customer database to make sure they come back time and time again and refer customers to you. So vital. Having a perfect loan process. I authored that with my team back, 15 years ago or whatever. I mean, that's the single most important thing I ever did in my business, and most of our clients are finding that too. Craig talked about it earlier. A system for providing an experience that separates you from everybody else. So bring it, Rocket, bring it. You can't compete with this team. Becoming a better leader. One of the challenges of being a loan originator is none of us really have a lot of leadership skills. So really honing and cultivating those leadership skills so you can lead your team, building a solid team of successful people with a vibrant culture and leading them by example. That's the source of your freedom. If you've got a great team and you've got great systems and you're tight in your scripting and you've got marketing that's keeping lead flow in there and you're managing your time vigilantly and being really, really clear on your hell yeses and your hell nos in both your business life and your personal life, we're talking about a different life. We're talking about a lot of this stuff. So, your final assignment is this. Move into your heart when you get home. Go into nature, go for a hike, go to the beach if you live near one, a lake. Get away from all the technology and go into your heart and create a list of the experiences that you want to be having more of in your life. And by experiences, I don't mean I want to work out more. I mean, I want my heart to be ripped wide open to the point of tears. Because I'm so joyful. What does that for you? What makes you feel peace inside? What makes you feel joy? And then number 2, develop a list of competing intentions that you need to be aware of. So you can have them on your dashboard. These are the things that kind of pull you away, seduce you away from giving yourself those experiences. And then lastly, schedule time to work on your business and develop a plan like Dave was talking about, or like we do with our clients in L360. I mean, we all have 3 massive impact goals at all times. I have 3 right now that I'm working on. And 1 must be a personal goal, and 1 must be a business goal, and that third one can be one or the other. So you could have 2 business and 1 personal, or 2 personal and 1 business, but you cannot have 3 business goals and ignore the personal unless you want to just completely throw your life further out of balance. And work on them in unison with each other. Now, at 4:30, I'm lucky enough to do what I really love to do, which is not so much this. I love to connect with you guys. So I have this really nice opportunity at 4:30 to be upstairs in the room that I love so much because it's super intimate. I think it holds like 600 people. Get there a little bit early, I suggest. I think it's going to be tight. We're going to go deeper. We're going to go a lot deeper, actually. It's always fun, the format that we're going to do this afternoon. Be generous with each other, please. If there's not enough seating, make some room. Some people may need to sit on the floor, whatever. It's cool. It'll be a great hour and 15 minutes together. I'm really looking forward to being with you. Right now, when I'm done, if anybody needs to talk to me, Dave and Craig, we're going to go out on the mezzanine level here, and we'll be at our little table that's right by the bathroom. You'll probably find us if you need to go to the restroom, because we're right outside the restroom. It's perfectly designed. And in closing, I just want to leave you with this quote for you to consider. I've found for me that success is knowing what fills my soul, knowing what makes me feel like I'm alive, knowing what makes me laugh and cry, and has me feeling on purpose. From there, knowing that I deserve to have those experiences often, knowing that I deserve it, that I'm worthy of having that joy, and then giving them to myself generously. I'm abundantly grateful for a full room. What a blessing. Thank you for all showing up. Enjoyed Darren, who's, from what I understand, an amazing presenter. I look forward to seeing you guys at 4:30 this afternoon. Thank you very much.